I restored this beaten up 1977 Fender Rhodes as it's always been a dream instrument of mine. Don't know why I just did that. I don't know, maybe. Could go like, ah, glow. Because it was me who restored it, it's absolutely far from perfect. The keys aren't quite level, and sometimes the notes sustain as well, even when I'm not pressing the pedal. But I absolutely love this instrument, so today I'm gonna make a beat with the Fender Rhodes as the focus. Let's go. Tammuz was kind enough to send me his sample pack, Soul Sessions Volume 3, which I highly recommend checking out. So I'm going to use a break from that today just to speed up our workflow. I'm going to jump straight over to the Fender Rhodes, which I'm recording with a jack input. What's really cool is that the Rhodes is an electric piano, which just like a real piano, it generates sounds with keys and hammers. But instead of strings like on a traditional piano, the Rhodes uses tines, which the hammers strike to generate sounds. Each key also has an electromagnetic pickup, which generates the signal and sends it out into my computer. It's pretty cool. Also, this thing weighs about 60 kilos, and I can't imagine gigging with this back in the day, people carrying it around. I've heard all sorts of stories, and I can't really imagine a world where a 60-kilogram piano is considered portable, but yeah, anyway. Let's jump over to the Rhodes and see if we can come up with a chord progression. So the chords are C minor 7 to A flat 7 sharp 11, then G minor 7, then A minor 7, but sometimes I would put a D in the bass to make it a D7 sus, to A flat minor 7, then E flat major 7, F minor 7, and then G7 altered, which is the 5 of the 1 chord C minor 7. So I pretty much improvised this melody, and whilst I was playing it, I was thinking that if I can repeat the idea several times, that kind of creates conviction and a sense of confidence that this is indeed the melody. So essentially taking the idea, then repeating it gives it a sense of purpose and helps make it memorable as well. I just want to process the Rhodes a little bit. Because I wasn't recording with a preamp, I'm going to use the Neve 108.4, which I think has a really nice tone, and the EQ always sounds nice on piano and Rhodes as well. Just going to remove some of the lows, just to create a bit more separation for the bass. Nice. And I'm thinking a bit of colour as well, maybe with Little Radiator by Sound Toys. Whoa, too much. Nice. I'm also going to use a bit of compression just to control the peaks a bit. I like using the LA2A because it's pretty smooth and not as aggressive as some of the other compressors. Also, the tone is really nice. I just want to reduce the peaks so that the maximum is about -3. Somewhere around there is nice. I'm going to automate some reverb on the Rhodes as well, just to add a little bit more depth. To be honest, that sounds pretty good. I didn't actually end up automating it, but there we go. I want to add some percussion and Foley just to create a bit more depth to the drum groove. I'm going to use some sounds that I've captured from a previous session just to speed up the workflow. I'm just going to tighten up the timing of the snare a little bit, link these different layers together, and I'm just going to experiment with the placement, maybe pushing them just slightly behind the snare. Maybe that's a bit too late. Double that one up. Cool. That's kind of cool. Cool, let me just automate that. I've created this shaker sample out of a rain stick, and I just want to make sure that it's in time with the main drum break. Feels a bit rushed. Cool. I'm going to use a riser just to create separation and distinction between different sections. Yeah, kind of like that. I just want to tighten up the drums a little bit, and I'm going to use a bit of compression to do that. I want to try and shape the tone of the drums a bit, so I'm going to use Radiator, a plugin by Soundtoys. I like hitting the input of this plugin pretty high and then dialing in the mix to taste. So you can hear that adds a lot of sizzle to it, which I really like, but maybe it's a bit too much. I find that after a while it fatigues my ears a bit, so that's not that good, but we can dial the mix in to taste. I'm just going to add a bit of sidechain compression to the synth bass, just so that every time the kick hits, it ducks the bass just a tiny bit. I just think this track calls for it, especially that it's a synth bass with a long sustained sub bass sort of sound. So I'm going to set it to a low pass, set the frequency to about 95 so that it isolates the lower frequencies from the kick drum mostly. I've set the input channel to the drums as well, and then just dial in the threshold to taste. Yeah, nice. Whilst I was soloing, I was trying really hard to kind of follow the chord progression. Because I've only just written it, I'm kind of letting my ears follow the sequence, which is sounding okay, but just sometimes I'm not nailing the changes. And as I get more familiar with the chords, that would really just help kind of flow between the changes. Sometimes I think of it like slalom skiing, where you're trying to weave in and out of the posts. And the more familiar I become with any given chord sequence, the easier it is to kind of bob and weave and flow between. But it's sounding all right for now, especially the beginning. It sounded kind of nice and restrictive and melodic. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I'm going to fill out the arrangement a bit more with synths. So I'm going to use the Arturia Juno plugin and see what we can come up with. That's kind of cool. So I was just trying to get the synth melody to sit between the Rhodes. Now I'm going to search for some pads, maybe with the same plugin. Cool, so I'm going to leave it there for today. Let's listen back to what we've done in this session from the top. Oh, those pads are nice. Not bad. Couple of wrong notes, but it's all good. I like that bit. Cool. So So let's wrap it up there for now. I've included a more in-depth chord breakdown over on my Patreon. So if you're interested in learning the voicings for this and a bit more about what's going on, then head over there now. There's other content on there that you can access straight away, like other chord breakdowns, Q&As, some samples from my previous projects, as well as unreleased beats. It's also a really great way to support myself as an artist, as well as this channel. I really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.